Recording in progress. We're good to go. Daniel Murphy back on the channel. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Not as well as you. You just came off a massive win last week at the the Nationals. You came up first place heavyweight winner.
Yes, I won the super heavyweight class at the Vancouver Pro qualifier.
That's a pretty big fucking accomplishment, my friend.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's my first time winning the super heavies at a pro qualifier. So yeah.
I got to be honest with you, Dan, and I'm not just saying this because I'm one of your best friends, but I'm just going to say this straight up. I looked at the photos, and I appreciate everyone. I know the light heavyweight. I looked at the photos though, and I looked at the overalls, and people will say I'm biased because I'm your buddy, but I thought you had it. So what's your opinion on that? Okay, give me a full rundown first of the competition. What exactly happened? You won the light heavyweights, but what happened in the overalls?
Okay, so yeah, I won the super heavyweight class pretty handedly.
Yeah.
I
Easily.
defeated a pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not to knock on the Dorian, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, yeah, it was a pretty decisive win as far as I think most people saw it. So
I'm sure he would agree as well.
Yeah. So I'm friends with a lot of the people. The guy who won the heavyweight, Ina, I've known him for a while. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But he was shocked he won, man. He thought I was going to win it. So yeah, we were both a little bit surprised with the outcome. I'll never attack another competitor because it's a subjective sport and the judges make the call.
I know.
Yeah, but the pre-judging, actually, I thought actually the other guy, Alex, who I'm also friends with, was going to win the heavyweight. Based on the morning they had him center, clearly winning.
Yeah.
And then he came back at night. He faded a little bit, and the other guy, Ina, got better. And the judges did something that they very rarely do. They actually rejudged the heavyweight class at night.
Really?
Yeah. So normally the show is pretty much decided
in the morning.
The morning.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So by all accounts, Alex should have been the heavyweight champion going into the overall.
Okay, so wait a second. Are they changing the format now, or is it like the evening show and the night show? Are they equally 50%?
No, they're not. Okay. But the judges do reserve the right to rejudge a class in the 100%. Evening.
Yeah.
Often. So.
But back when you and I first started competing, I mean, we pretty much knew after the morning show who was going to be your top three. Yeah. Maybe there was sometimes that you didn't really know between 1 and 2, but there was you knew who your top 3 were anywhere in your class.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know I'm biased because I'm your friend, but I actually did look at the photos and I compared the overall winner, the person who won his IFBB pro card. What's his name?
Ina. Well, he also goes by Tommy, but
okay. And he's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He looked fantastic, but I mean, I looked at your conditioning and your size, and to me, I would have, and again, I'm not a professional judge, but to me, taking out our friendship, I would have had you winning the overall.
Yeah. Of course, I'm biased toward myself too, but objectively, I can give you a rundown of what I think happened.
Okay.
So I was pretty clearly the most conditioned guy in the entire show.
Yeah.
Which is rare to have the super heavyweight be the most conditioned guy, but I was.
Right.
And
it's usually, just so people don't know, it's usually like the light heavyweight that's the most conditioned guy in the show.
Yeah, maybe usually. Middle or light heavy.
Yeah.
But, so I was the most conditioned. I had the most, I guess, overall muscle and muscle density. I honestly think that they rewarded him on strictly his potential.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, and most people that I spoke to who saw the show, I was the best bodybuilder on the stage that day.
I agree with that.
But he does have a good structure. He does have good flow. But he wasn't in the condition he needed to be, I felt, to win. And there are a couple of body parts he needs to bring up. But I think they got excited by his shape and what he could be.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to reward him for that.
So I got to ask you though, because I mean, you've been in this game, you and I came up together in this sport. Now we've both gone different paths. I've kind of retired from the stage and you're still going. When you get to that type of level, I mean, I've never competed at the level that you were at this past week. When you get so close, like so close to getting that pro card, are you now discouraged? Or are you more hungry to compete for more?
It's a very good question. It was, at first it was shock, you know.
Yeah.
I was expecting to hear my number called. I was not expecting that outcome at all. And I think you could tell by his reaction, he was pretty shocked too. I'm very happy for the guy. He's a really nice, humble guy.
Yeah.
And as far as seeing someone good win it, I'm happy for him to get it. That it is a subjective sport. But so I took some time. I was pretty let down afterward. I'll never behave like a bad sport. There were some guys in other classes and divisions in that show who were bad sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, I initially was discouraged. I still don't really agree with the call.
Yeah.
But I do feel like keeping on going, and I will continue to improve and make myself undeniable.
Well, okay, so that was a national level show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So explain to me now, because I've been out of the circuit for a long time. So you're still qualified because you've won provincial level shows. Are you still qualified for the next national level show, or do you have to do that show again?
Well, I am qualified based on winning my class here alone. So
okay. So when's the next show?
That's what I'm still trying to figure out.
Do they have a scheduled show right now with COVID or no?
Yeah, but I mean things are tentative. So I've given it some thought, and I've thought about maybe going to the States for my next show.
Okay.
You know, the different judges might have a different opinion, and I might have a better outcome in front of some different judges. So.
The last time I had you on the channel, you and I didn't really go back too much into our history together, but where we started is, and a lot of people don't know, especially my clients, is you and I actually competed for our first show together.
Yeah.
And shit, Dan, you're gonna have to remind me, was that in 2010? Was that
2010?
2010, right?
First show ever.
We competed as middleweights, right?
Yes.
And we both did a ketosis diet.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the whole thing. And you know what's funny is I've gained a lot of questions in the last few weeks about keto diets. And that's why I kind of wanted to get you on the channel, because you and I for sure are very similar view to keto diets. But I want you to explain to people why you're not a big believer in using ketosis diets.
Okay. So we followed the Palumbo's ketogenic, kind of one size fits all diet. Dave
Palumbo, who's a fairly well-known bodybuilder, contest prep guru in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So I have a fast metabolism, a very fast metabolism, and I burn through carbs like crazy.
Yeah.
So I felt that the long diet on little to no carbs really flattened me out, and I think I lost a decent amount of muscle tissue going to that show.
Yeah.
Even though I was like right at the top of middleweight, which is 176 and a half.
We were so light for that show.
We never should have been that small.
No, I know. We were both walking in at like 175, 76.
Yeah. I mean, we did well based on having good condition.
Yeah.
But if it was a higher level of show, we would have got smoked easily, just on being too small and flat. So
easily.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what we were doing really, right, at the time. I mean, we were definitely conditioned for sure. But at the time, and back then, going back to 2010, yes, you had the internet, but you didn't have as much resources as you have today. So how is your training and how is your diet and how has your protocol changed in the last, let's say, 10 years?
I eat a lot more carbs now.
You do.
In fact, when I dieted for this show, I don't think I had a single day where I was under 300 carbs. 300 carbs was my carb depletion.
Wow.
In fact, I actually carb loaded. One of my highest day was almost 1,000 carbs.
Okay, so hold on a second, because you have a fast metabolism. Can the average person that comes to work with you who's getting ready for the stage, let's say I come to you and like, an average Joe Blow, can I diet down on 300 carbs a day, get ready for a show?
Not likely.
No. So you got to
No.
suffer a little bit more.
Yeah. Like we can still have carbs in your diet. We don't need to go ketogenic diet, but you are probably not going to get as lean as you need to get eating the amount of carbs that I do.
Yeah.
One, I have a fast metabolism to begin with, and a whole lot of muscle mass, which is burning a lot just doing nothing. So,
Well, that's what I was going to ask you now. Because, okay, what was your weight going into that show?
I was 227 at the weigh-in.
All right. And I know you don't do calipers, but what would you guess your body fat going in roughly?
Not more than 5%.
Easily. Yeah. I was going to suggest looking at those photos look like more like 3%.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't understand is when you have that much muscle, you burn so much more calories in a rested state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people can't get away like dieting like you can. Because I think I saw you maybe 4 or 5 weeks prior to your show, and you were eating a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
The average person can't get away with that, right?
No.
Do you agree?
No, the average person can't. And I also did no cardio for that show, which
None.
Most people can't get away with. Yeah, that's right. None.
So what do you attribute that to primarily? Is it just over the years of just increasing your muscle mass? What is it from?
Yes. And I also try to build my food up in the off season.
Okay.
Where I'm eating a large amount of food to begin with.
Yeah.
So if I have a long period of time with a client, right?
Yeah.
And your goal is to do a show. So first, when you're trying to gain, I'm going to try to gradually build your calories up to a pretty high level so that we can start the diet on, say, 3,500 calories. If we're starting your diet at 2,000 calories, where do we go from there? We're going to end up probably under 1,000 calories to get you lean enough. Yeah. Whereas if we started with 3,500, maybe we only have to get you down to 2,000 to get lean enough.
Okay. Are you working primarily because you're a contest prep? Well, I lost your audio. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you're primarily focused, and I don't know actually. So I should ask you now because you're known as the contest prep guru now. Are you working primarily with competitors? Are you also working with your everyday average show?
Both. I do have a niche. A lot of people come to me who want to do shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have what most of us call them now, lifestyle clients also. Yeah.
If you remember, of course you remember this, but last year you were getting ready for the Toronto Pro.
Yes.
And the show was like literally pulled out of the rug from you within like 12 hours before you were supposed to step on stage. So I want to go back to that because I remember you texted me when that happened and you had just got your first coat of spray tan. Was that right? Have you gotten your spray tan yet? You were in Toronto when it happened.
No, I hadn't gotten the spray tan yet. It was a day out. They canceled it. So I would have been getting my tan that day, but that morning we found out that it was canceled.
Okay, I want to just go back to that for a second because for those people who haven't competed before, I mean, you dieted for that show. You are on a caloric restricted diet, getting ready for a show like that. Mm-hmm. When was that show, Dan?
That was in November last year.
Yeah, I felt for you when that happened because you would prep for that show. And it takes a long time to prepare for a show. People don't get this. You don't just prepare for a show in 2 weeks. Like it takes a long time to get ready, get stage ready. We're not talking walking around at like 12 or 14% body fat. You're in single digits body fat. You're in pain. You're not comfortable. You're tired. You're hungry. You're irritable. And so you put all your time and effort into that show and then your money getting ready for that show, flying out to Toronto. And then what was it? How long before the show was canceled?
It was a day out from the show.
Just right before COVID.
No,
during COVID. This was during COVID.
Yes. So what happened is I was planning on doing a show way earlier in the year. I was planning on doing the Vancouver Pro qualifier, which was supposed to be in July. So that obviously didn't happen. So in the meantime, I went and did the Van City showdown here, which I won. I won it fairly easily. And then, but that wasn't a pro qualifier. So then they were saying for sure, I talked to Ron Hache, the president of the CPA.
President, right. Yeah.
And it's his show too.
Yeah.
He assured me that the show would in fact happen. So I booked my plane ticket and my accommodations and everything and got out there. and then the case numbers were going up, and they got shut down at the location they were supposed to have it at. They moved it to a different city, and then that city went into the red zone for COVID restrictions. They moved it again.
Yeah.
Got shut down. They moved it one more time, and then they finally got shut down there, and they just gave up at that point. So.
Okay, so give me what your mindset is at that point as someone who's depleted themselves for I don't know how many weeks. You're tired, you're hungry, and the show's just been canceled, and you're in Toronto. What's your mindset?
Man, I was pissed off.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because look, I already spent all the money. I already paid for like 5-6 days the Airbnb there, right?
Yeah.
And then the show's canceled, and it's like there's nothing anyone can do about it. Oh yeah, they of course they'll return our entry fees, but they're not compensating us for the money we spent on travel and accommodations. Like all of us lost out on that. So
I preparing for this last show, especially with the new variant in BC, were you at all like, oh shit, here we go again?
Well, things were kind of in a lull with COVID for a while, and it was looking like, oh yeah, for sure this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then very close to the show, things got hairy again. And then they were talking about the restrictions happening over the holidays, because the show happened on the 22nd.
Okay.
And then restrictions were to go into effect that night at midnight.
Jesus.
So I think if the show had been one day later, it wouldn't have happened.
Oh my God. You would have been done again two times. Oh my God, that's nuts. I want to switch gears over to contest prep, but especially with the clients you train. I'm not training competitors like you are. I mean, I do work with the average person who, their goal is just to look good, feel good, lose some fat, build some muscle. That's primarily my demographic. Now, I do work with some competitors, but that's not my primary demographic. I was going to ask you, I was talking to another coach, and he was saying a lot of the younger generation he's working with now, they're so, when it comes to supplement use, they're so on more is better, insulin, growth hormone, testosterone, trenbolone, DECA, you name it. They want more and more. Are you finding that now as a contest prep coach, when you're working with the younger generation, like the up and coming guys in their 20s, they're asking you for larger cycles, or what's going on with that with you?
Yeah, I see that a lot. And they think that's the secret.
They do.
But it's not, because I can tell you without getting into specifics that I was on less gear than some people I know who were doing the men's physique division, and actually significantly less.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I know what you do. I understand that. So what do you think that is, though? Why do you think the younger generation is so more is better?
I just think it's like a shortcut thing. People don't want to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to accept that, like, look, it's a freaky sport. Drugs are part of it. They're not going to go away. But there are limits, and more is not necessarily better. So I think they think they can achieve faster results by taking more stuff, or like guys who are not giving them the real deal when they're saying their cycles. They're thinking, well, he's not telling me the truth. He must be taking double that, so I'm going to double what he said to take, right?
Yeah, and a lot of these pros are, I mean, especially at the IFBB pro level, a lot of them, they're genetic freaks. They can respond to very minimal dosages, and they do very well. But I wanted to ask you too, what in your opinion, because we haven't spoken about this, but since we last spoke, I mean, there's been quite a few deaths in the bodybuilding industry, and not just the bodybuilding, but the fitness and figure industry as well. Overall, as a whole, and 4 big names that come to me: Mike Mendenhall, John Meadows, Sean Roden, George Peterson. And that's all in a span of the last, like, say, 6 to 8 months. I asked my friend Art the other day what he thinks going on. What do you think's going on? What's going on in the fitness industry now? Why are all these people just dying all of a sudden at young ages?
Oh, it's disturbing. And before it was just like the big guys.
Yeah.
Like the really heavy guys, but some of these guys were not like necessarily like really overweight. Like John Meadows wasn't like a super heavy guy.
No.
He was stopped competing. He was downsized,
Did he have a heart attack?
Yeah, he did have a heart attack.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if we have confirmed what George Peterson was, but I think it was an aneurysm.
Okay.
Now, is it the steroids or the drugs? It could be, and they probably do play a role. But why are we seeing like such a high rate of deaths now?
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
coinciding with COVID.
Right.
It makes you wonder, are they dying from COVID? Are they dying from side effects from the vaccine? Like, I don't know. It's really hard to say. But I hope it doesn't keep up like this, because it's too many dying.
And the average, I would say, ignorant person is going to say steroids first thing.
Yeah.
Steroids, hands down, it's steroids. But to the people who are more educated on topic of anabolic steroid usage, like yourself and myself, I don't necessarily think steroids right away. I think, okay, were there pre-existing health issues? I mean, we go back to, say, Sean Roden, for example, 2018 Mr. Olympia. He had a rape allegation on him right after that he won that show. A few months after the rape allegation, he wasn't allowed to compete for 2 years.
Yeah.
So he had his livelihood taken away from him. So, stress plays a role there too.
Stress is huge, right? And like, so he gets accused.
Yeah.
The sport basically abandons him. They ban him from competing at the Mr. Olympia, right?
Yeah.
So he goes from being at the pinnacle of the sport to barred from competing in the sport pending his trial.
Yeah.
Which he never did get to see. He never had a chance to clear his name before dying.
No.
So there will always be this asterisk next to him.
Yeah.
So it's
what do you think about that though too? Because if you think of anyone else who has a private, say, government job, or a job like my job, for example, if I was awaiting for, let's say, any trial, or nobody would know about it, but because he's a public figure, people know about it, so he can't compete. What do you think about that? Should he have been allowed to compete those last 2 years while he was waiting for his trial?
I mean, I would say yes.
Yeah.
It's not my organization. It's not, but it's okay. Rape allegations always have to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But when you look at the accuser, they were already charged with bank fraud. So they have a known history of fraudulence. So, I mean, let's give our athlete the benefit of the doubt and let him compete innocent until proven guilty.
I agree.
I mean, it was not like a crime to the extent where he was being held in custody.
Yeah.
So I would have let him compete if it was up to me. So
I would have too. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would have too, because innocent until proven guilty, and we don't actually know, right? We don't know. I want to actually go back. Going back to maybe 2008, 2009, when you and I first started training together, like as training partners. And do you remember when we were getting ready for our first show? How has your training evolved since then? I mean, when you and I were training back then, were we doing, in your opinion, now that you know what you know now, were we kind of just overtraining? If you go back to what you and I were doing back, say, 2009, 2010, were we just, young guys? We were in our, I think, we were in our early 20s. Did we know what we were doing, in your opinion? Like, were we just overkill? Like, how is
I think we were pretty close, man. I think we were pretty close.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit high on the volume, but I think we had good workouts. I don't think we were that far off, really.
Because I don't train with you anymore, but I remember when you and I used to train together, we used to do like tons of drop sets, and we would do, like you said, heavy volume training. And how has your workouts evolved now? Are you still doing those drop sets, or how has your workouts changed?
Yeah,
now?
I'll do drop sets, but
Yeah.
I won't necessarily do as many of them, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'll use them a little bit more sparingly.
Right.
And sometimes, like on a main lift, I might not do 4 work sets. I might work up to 2 work sets, right? Part of that too is just being stronger. I need more sets to just work up to my working weight. So
what's your clientele base? You said you work with both, but are you primarily working with competitors right now? Or are you working with 50-50?
I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people who either have a show in mind, they have competed, or they aspire to compete.
Okay. And I mean, let's cut the bullshit. I mean, we both work with people who use anabolic steroids and probably people who don't. Do you diet someone differently who's using anabolic steroids for someone who's natural?
For the most part, no.
Okay.
But a natural athlete is going to be more at risk of losing muscle tissue on a diet.
Right.
So we got to be a little bit more diligent about making sure they're getting enough protein, and making sure that we're not making big cuts in calories too fast.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a longer period of time to diet someone natural, so we can make sure to retain most of the tissue they've put on.
Okay. And would you say, I'm just trying to get a feel for it, like right now, for example, of your online roster, how many of your online roster of your clientele would you say you work with in person right now, percentage wise?
It's mostly online.
Okay.
But actually, over this COVID time period,
yeah,
I have the benefit of having a private facility where I can train clients, right?
Nice. Good for
so in-person sessions have been more in demand because people have been wanting to come train at that facility.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing probably more like 60%
that's great
in-person sessions right now. So
that's really good, because I think I've told you this, but this time around with the new variant, there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. We held a health officer come in and say, no, you guys are shut down. So I've had clients like saying to me, hey, I'll give you double to come in. I've had people messaging me saying, I'll give you $100 just if I can come in and do a workout. Not even with me, if they could just come in and do a workout, because people are desperate to train. I said, guys, I can't do it. I can't do it because I risk getting a fine. So it's good that you're able to operate right now. Because, it's hurting as a business. It hurts us. And I think I told you before, at the beginning stages of COVID, we were actually okay. We were okay to operate. We were flying under that radar. Everyone knew what we were doing. But now with this new variant, because it's so transmissible, we were told, no, you got to shut it down right now. What's your opinion on this? Like, do you think gyms are the cause of these outbreaks?
No, definitely not. I mean, so I know some people are arguing that gyms are essential services.
Yeah.
That's a fight. Well, I may agree with that. It's a fight they're probably not going to win, because the average person doesn't see it as essential. But the fight that the argument they should use is inconsistency. So if shopping centers and restaurants are open and events are still even happening at limited capacity, there's no good reason why the gyms have to be closed.
I agree. I honestly, and I'll probably get some hate for this, but I think this is a political move. And why I believe this is, you look at restaurants. Restaurants are open. Yeah, okay, bars and nightclubs are closed, but restaurants are still open. And restaurants generate more revenue than gyms do. Let's face it, gyms are not the most profitable business. You know this and I know this. And so they don't generate a lot of tax revenue for the government. Restaurants do, though. Alcohol sells. So I think
liquor stores have been open the entire time period. They never shut down.
But when you think about why that is, and again, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but you think, I mean, the government's getting their money, their tax dollars, and they have to look at the same time like they're doing something. So, okay, let's shut down gyms because that shows that we're doing something. My argument with that, though, is show me the data and the research that shows that these outbreaks are occurring at fitness facilities.
I don't think they have that data.
I know they don't have that data. That's the problem. And I've had a lot of clients message me because we have a private facility that's very low numbers on the floor at all times. We can control the numbers just like your facility. And I have clients questioning me, like, what are you doing? I say, it's not my decision, guys. Like, it's not my decisions. We open our doors, we get fined. So I agree 100% with the fact that gyms should be open. That's my standpoint on that. And I'm kind of fed up with this situation because as a gym owner, I'm just like, it looks greedy on my part. Like I'm just trying to take money. Of course I want to make money, but at the same time, I want to see the data backing this that says that gyms are the problem.
Yeah. And I mean, they actually do need to provide that data because it's under the Freedom of Information Act. So
They haven't given it though.
Yeah. So you can write your MP and request that data to be made available. And
okay, but
maybe
then do you
doing.
realistically think we're going to get that data anytime soon?
I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, there was a petition being, I don't know if you saw this, but it was being
Yeah, I
passed
saw the
around and you
petition.
saw it. And when I was first sent it, there was 300 signatures on it.
Yeah.
The next day I looked at it, there was 10,000 signatures. And the next day it was 30,000 signatures to keep gyms open.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what that petition's at now. It's got to be well over 50,000 people.
Yeah.
But
still, I don't think that even phases them.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So with the restrictions now being seen that they're going to open gyms, say, I think it was January 18th here in BC. Do you think that's going to happen?
My hunch is no.
Yeah.
Based on the history, no.
No.
I mean, they have a history of putting restrictions into effect, setting a timeline, and then constantly extending that. So
I agree.
But here's something strange to consider.
Yeah.
Case counts are way higher in Ontario, but gyms remain open there. I
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
No idea.
We're going through an odd phase right now. And I've tried to be, we have to be careful as business owners, what we say. I get that, especially on social media. But man, I'm between you. Honestly, I'm fed up. I'm like, show me why you have to shut us down. I want to see why you're shutting us down.
Yeah.
If it is gyms, fine, 100%. Okay, do it.
Yeah. Just show the data.
I want to ask you before I let you go, future plans right now, not just for competing, but for your business, because your business, I'm assuming, especially after this win, it's going to grow probably even bigger right now.
Yeah, a lot of people have been reaching out to me.
Yeah, you're getting your name on that circuit now. I honestly, I don't want to jinx you, but I think it's going to be a matter of time until you get that pro card. I've been saying this to you for the past few years. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not just saying it's because I'm your friend, but I actually think every time I see your conditioning, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, he should have had his card. I'm like, your glutes are striated, your hamstrings are in. And it is what it is. Like you said, it's a subjective sport. But because you're getting either way, though, people see your conditioning, they see how you look on stage. Obviously, you know how to dial it in. How are you managing now an increase in business?
It's great, actually. I like being busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't like having little to do. I know a lot of bodybuilders just want to like sit around and watch TV and eat while they're not training, but no, I don't like that. I like to keep myself busy. So yeah.
I almost feel like I've told you this before, like I had a point where my online roster was full and I'm not even a competitor. And I just didn't even know how to manage it. I mean, how do you find for yourself managing all those clients? Do you find it difficult to juggle them all at the same time and still work with people in person?
Yes. And I've kind of put caps on it.
Yeah.
But I think at some point I will look at taking on a partner or another trainer to help me out with that.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to be able to offer the service to everybody. But I mean, I can't do a good job if I'm taking on too many people myself. So
exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't get, right? When I start seeing these coaches who are just taking everybody and say, oh yeah, come in, sign up with me. And they've got like, you know, 500 plus clients, but like you said earlier, they're giving everybody these cookie cutter diets.
Yeah.
I would be very wary of working with a coach like that who can just, take on everybody. To me, you're not getting that same level of first of all, that customized coaching that you need, that you'd get from someone like yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Is your roster right now full? Or are you still taking on people?
I'm taking on a few more people, but I'm probably going to have to cut it soon.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. What I'm seeing a lot of now is teams.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So you'll have like let's take like Dorian Hamilton, for example.
Yeah.
Team HD, right?
Yeah.
So
famous
I mean,
coach.
he's the owner, he's the head coach, but he has several other coaches working under him. And when you go to sign up with Team HD, he'll say like Justin is going to be your trainer. Or your coach, does that work for you? You know, so when you go with a team, you may not get like the head coach. You may work with another trainer who's gotten their information from them. But yeah.
What's your philosophy on that? Do you think that's a good business concept, or do you think that, like, as an athlete who's going for his pro card, I know you don't hire a coach right now, but would you work with someone who's, say you want to work with the head coach, but he's like, no, he's too busy, he's going to send you to one of his subordinates. Would you work with someone like that?
Well, if I wanted to work with a head coach, then I would probably go elsewhere if they were going to try to pawn me off on. Yeah. But a lot of people are not like high level, and one of their other coaches might just be fine for them, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
So, I agree with that. And I've had people that will reach out to me too. And again, I don't compare myself to someone who's highly in demand, but I do cap it, because just like you said, your service starts to get diluted if you start seeing, okay, everyone come in, everyone work with me, and then all of a sudden you've got 3,000 emails that come in your inbox, and on a Friday morning you're like, okay, well, it's just really copy paste, and I feel like that's just going to dilute the service, and at the end of the day it just gives you a bad reputation.
So, I don't think it's feasible to have more than 100 clients in your roster at one time. I don't think you can do them justice.
What about I know you said you're thinking about maybe a US show, but do you have any shows on, like, in your horizon right now that you're thinking about doing? Because you're still, I'm assuming you're still in probably good shape. I saw a recent photo of you the other day. Do you have any idea of, like, maybe in the next few weeks, kid another show?
Well, there's the Arnold Amateur in Ohio in 9 weeks. That's a possibility. It doesn't give me a lot of time to grow.
No,
but I could take 4 weeks to make some improvements and then easily get lean enough for that show.
Well, okay, I can ask you this too, because you're completely critical of yourself. What would you say your weakest body parts right now that you need to bring up on?
I think it's a structural thing.
Okay.
Like, I was told this by Ron Hache himself: you don't have a black guy's waist.
Okay.
And
you're a white
it's
guy.
true. I don't have a tiny waist.
Okay.
So I need to make other things bigger to reduce the appearance of my waist. I have really phenomenal abdominal development. But I have a wider waist structurally, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
You kind of have like a Jay Cutler issue, right? With that wide waist.
If I was competing in a Jay Cutler era, I'd be doing a lot better. But in the today's current climate, they highly value the smaller weights, and I think that's probably the main reason. That's really the only case I can make for the guy who beating me. So smaller waist.
As a competitor, what do you do from there? Like, do you make your waist smaller? Like you said, you have to make yourself bigger. Like, what's the plan with that?
Well, you can only make your waist so small, right? Like, I got rid of all the fat, right?
Yeah, you don't have any fat. You got like an 8-pack.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And I controlled my waist on stage. I was able to pull a vacuum. Right. So I'm doing as much as I can in that area. But then other than that, it's just the creating the illusion of a smaller waist by making the chest, the shoulders, the lats, the legs bigger. Even the arms will, all of those will like make the waist look smaller. I had a discussion with the head judge, Ron. He said, you know what? You just need to get bigger, like Ian Valliere or like Fouad Abiad was when he was competing. Neither of those guys had structurally small waists, but they really reduced the appearance of it by making other muscles bigger.
And what's good with you is I know, because I've known you for years, you go for regular, a lot of guys don't do this, but you go for blood work. You get all your blood work done. So you're actually very, very good with that. You're very diligent with that, where a lot of guys don't do that. They kind of put their head in the sand. So you always know.
And maybe that's why we're seeing so many deaths. Maybe people are missing stuff that they could have prevented if they had done regular checkups.
Quite possibly. I don't know for sure, but I agree with you on that. I do think that could be an issue. Again, pre-existing health issues that people are not checking, involved with heavy anabolic steroid use. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster.
Even something as simple as blood pressure, check it regularly, especially if you're genetically predisposed to high blood pressure. I'm not, luckily, I can like take pre-workout and even go do my blood pressure and it'll be fine, you know? So, but yeah, it's a silent killer. You could have high blood pressure and not know it. So
yeah.
No,
it's a good thing to tell people. That's really good. If someone wanted to get in contact with you for either the stage or just to say, hey, look, I need to get my fat ass in shape, what's the best way to contact you?
You can reach me. Instagram is my main social media platform.
Okay.
At Prep Coach Dan. And my email is danmurphyfitness@gmail.com.
I'll plug that into the video. I want to have also, as I love doing these, but these weighted debates, they become actually quite fun to do. And I definitely want to get you on because I'm sure you got a lot to say, especially with the way, one of the things I want to actually bring you on before they go is the way that training's kind of evolved over the last 10 plus years, especially with social media and everyone's on their phone. And I want your opinion on that, whether you think that's a good thing or you think that's a bad thing. Because I know when you and I were up and coming, I mean, I know like for business purposes, you got to put your phone out, you guys film a set. I get it. But when you and I were coming up, I mean, man, we would train for like an hour and a half on the floor. And I don't think either one of us even brought our phones with us.
No, never. We didn't have Instagram then. No. Like people that ask like, hey, do you have any pictures of you early on in your training? I'm like, not a single one. I never took any pictures.
No, we never did. And I understand now though, from a business point, especially if you're trying to market yourself, I totally get it. And I mean, getting your training partner to take a quick video of you, okay, no problem. But I also find the phone can be somewhat distracting, and too much, it just gets you out of that, you know, that like kind of like that tunnel vision you need to have that you and I used to have when we would train together. I mean, we used to train in that dungeon at Pantheon. Yeah. And we would go into those leg workouts, and man, I would get anxiety for those leg workouts. Yeah. We weren't bringing out a phone and taking fucking photos of our ass, selfie and say, oh, updating our Instagram status. Like we could barely catch our breath and then, okay, next set, here we go again. Yeah. You know? So I don't know. I want to get your opinion on that, how training's evolved over the years, because I really like, especially with you, because I know you have to be active on Instagram to promote your services. So I get it. But I want to know for you as someone who competes, if you find it more of a distraction or if you find
a different time. Yeah. I mean, if you ask me what I prefer, I would have been preferred to be competing during pre-social media. Yeah. Back when they had the good magazine contracts.
Right. Yeah. Now there's no magazines.
But not there's not good supplement contracts or magazine contracts before, because everybody's doing it for free now.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're a perfect example. You're making money off people contacting you. They see you on Instagram. They see, man, this guy's in great shape. He knows how to train. So it's free marketing. So it kind of works in your favor too, right? Well, your volume's gone off, Dan. Your volume. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. What was that last part? Sorry, that you said?
No, there's definitely good to it too. I do reach a lot of people this way. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to get you on for, because there's a good and a bad. And I don't want to just negate and say the younger generation trains like shit. I don't want to sound like some old school, like grumpy old man, but I do think there's a time and place for the phones in the gym.
Yeah.
I can tell you, man, when I'm squatting, and I don't squat nearly what you squat. My max squat is what I think 335. What are you squatting now for reps?
Just the other day I did 405 for 13 and 315 for 20.
Yeah, I'm doing 335 for 10.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the focus, as you know, that you have to get ready for that set. I couldn't just set up my selfie stick and get ready to go. It would throw me off.
Yeah.
But
I can tell you for damn sure.
Yeah.
If I looked like some of these people who are posting all the time, I definitely would not be posting. I just, for me, I feel like I have to look a certain way, be a certain size before I would even feel confident to post pictures or videos. So
yeah.
You
know, give them credit though. A lot of these people who are posting this stuff, they may not look great, But I always give them credit because I'm like, you know what? They're making money. They're somehow they're doing it. So
Yeah.
power to them. If they're making money from this, I mean, great. I can learn off them. You know,
Yeah.
it's not always about there's how many bodybuilders do you know that have great physiques, but they don't know how to be businessmen.
No,
They just
that's
eat their chicken and rice and watch their TV, and you know, they're making their like $1,000 a month from contracts and maybe a little bit of online training. But you're turning into a business. So you're a perfect example of someone who's kind of combining the bodybuilding and the business.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, you're now what, 33, 34 years old?
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, your lifespan in this sport is going to be for another maybe 10, maybe 15 years, but it's limited, right? So you have to have an exit strategy.
Yes.
A lot of these guys don't have that.
No. The days of just getting by on your supplement or magazine contract are over. So.
They're done. They're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Dan, I want to thank you a lot for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. I appreciate that you came on right away. I contacted you. I'm like, you free tonight? You're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Easy going. We didn't even send you any questions. Just do it raw.
No, just on the fly.
That's the way we're going to do it. And that's the way we're going to do the Wade debate too. So I'm going to get you on for a Wade debate in the next few weeks. And anything you want to talk about, I want to hear. Nice. If you have any topics that you want to bring up, but I want to pick your brain, and I want to know when your next show is.
Yeah. I
know you're going to get that pro card. I guarantee you're going to get that pro card. Every time I see you compete for that pro card, I get mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time. I don't know. And I know you must be frustrated, but I know because I'm your friend. I'm like, yeah, he's going to win. He's going to win. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was shocking. Like, okay, you were the biggest. You were the most conditioned.
You know, yeah.
You pulled a vacuum in your shots. You nailed your poses, but you didn't win.
Honestly, Dan, when I looked at the comparison shots from the back, because I thought, okay, maybe he's got you from the back. Because I'm like, okay, maybe it was, first of all, I know your back is going to kill everybody. Your back is crazy. But I thought, okay, maybe the glutes and hamstrings, maybe this guy's got in there. And it's not a knock on the winner. We're not knocking the winner here at all. I'm just saying, when I looked from the shots from the glutes and the hamstrings, again, your glutes are striated, your hamstrings are in.
Yeah.
So if the only knock is on your waistline,
yeah,
and now you have to get bigger because you can't make your waistline smaller. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So just back to the drawing board and make yourself bigger.
Yeah.
And you're already pretty fucking big, so
yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
What are you again? You're what, 240? You said?
I'm like about 230 right now, but I think I need to be more like 240 to be a good pro. So
yeah. And what a lot of people don't get, you're 230, and again, you're in like single digit body fat.
Shredded, yeah.
So when people hear that, like I think I'm right now probably around 210, but I'm easily about, I would say, 14% body fat. So you got 20 pounds on me, but I mean, I have a lot more body fat than you do. So just so people understand, like when you're walking around at 230 shredded, that's not easy to do. Right.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, I'm going to let you go because I know you got lots to do tonight, but I appreciate you coming on. This is probably going to go up on Wednesday of the new year. So 2022, because we're headed. Yeah. I think it's New Year's Eve as of tomorrow. Right. So we'll probably get this up next week. So I'll tag you, I'll DM you, I'll let you know when it's all up, but, sounds like you're pretty busy anyway right now, so I don't think you need more business, but it's always good to have a little bit more business.
We can always use more. We'll figure it out.
Always good talking to you, Dan. I'll bring you back on so we can have that Wade debate soon.
Okay, awesome. Sounds great.
Okay, man. Have a good night, brother.
You too.
I'll see you later on.
Bye.
Bye.